I'm gonna show you a series of image. What comes to mind when seeing them? Is it people just doing their hobbies? Is it people passionate in a fandom, or is it just some nerd, loser, cringe, no life degen wasting their time? Well, if your answer is similar to the last option, well, I would like to have a conversation with you. I'm here to tell you that the activity that these gentlemen are partaking are not all a waste of time. And I'm also here to tell you that this activity are a heck of a lot better than whatever this is. So, I've been reading a book recently. Uh, Before we start, I just want to say a lot smarter people have covered this topic on YouTube, and so I won't really focus on this book, but there is a reason. I would like to read a section of this book that we are going to take for this video. Any book that can be read for understanding or information can probably be read for entertainment as well. Just as a book that is capable of increasing our understanding can also be read purely for the information it contains, although later on he would say that this proposition cannot be reversed. So here's my interpretation on this. First of all, let's apply this to all kinds of media, not just books, because I do believe that this applies to modern media. For context, this book was made around the 1940s, I believe. So, media that is meant for information or education can also be consumed for both entertainment and knowledge. But not all media made for entertainment can be consumed for its knowledge. This video is obviously gonna cover modern media, and I'm here to prove that they aren't all just brain numbing brain rots. I mean, you do see those a lot, but it's not the full picture. I'm going to give out my thoughts on how people see this type of stuff, and also I want to get into how people see the person who is partaking in this activity from an outside point of view. Alright, so since we're talking about entertainment, of course we've got to talk about gaming. Now, I am a strong believer that gaming are a form of art. Alright? Even though that statement has been tainted a lot by some certain company, I do believe that games are a powerful tool for storytelling. Just look at games like Death Stranding, Persona, Omori. Imagine when I talk to my relatives, most other grown-ups around me, and I said that, man, I love playing games, and they have the perception of me just wasting his time doing this all day. I don't like to be compared with those games because gaming is such a wide fandom these days, so you can't really generalize it anymore, you know? But other than storytelling, gaming could be a form of learning for someone. It could be an inspiration, and it could also directly help someone with some subjects. For example, I know some of my friends have learned computer science through Roblox and Minecraft, making mods or experience. I've also became a self-proclaimed history nerd nowadays, and I would like to credit that boost in scores at history class to games like Assassin's Creed, War Thunder, and also old RTSs, because those games led me to some deep rabbit hole of learning history, and it ended up comes in clutch when I needed that for a test and whatnot. One more thing before we move on, there's some types of games that I don't think you could really capture if it were in another media. Like for example, if a game was a book, I don't think that book would be very good. One example would be because of environmental storytelling, a way a game presents its story through non-conventional ways, through the way the game presents its environment. For example, the expanse of the new world when you first log into Monster Hunter World, the post-apocalyptic wasteland that you first met in Death Stranding, you cannot capture those feelings with words or with visuals the same way you could capture those feelings as an interactive art. Alright, let's not focus on video games too much. Let's move on to other topics because if not, our video will be way too long. Let's move on to Alright, so I'm not gonna pretend that I'm the most knowledgeable dude about this topic, about this realm of anime. Well, I've only watched like 7 out of the top 50 at my anime list. So take my words as it is. Now, anime and other form of animation, I feel like has been underappreciated a bit. It's been better with the releases of Spider-Verse and The Boy and the Heron and such. But I do feel like there's a lot more of this kind of media that people avoid. Even TV shows like Monster and Evangelion has good character writings, and so I don't understand the appeal of this kind of stuff. But why am I comparing this stuff? Why am I comparing this video games and these movies to brain rot contents on the internet? Now, I'm not saying that brain rot content in the internet is purely a bad thing, but I'm here to defend my opinion that whether entertainment has a destructive or constructive influence, it's dependent on what you choose to consume and how you act upon it. To prove that entertainment has value beyond itself, I would like to talk about something a bit personal. So, recently, about a month ago, and it's still going on to this day, I've been having this string of nightmares that has been happening constantly. I believe the longest streak it goes on to was like 6 days in a row last month, and so I asked my mom, and she said that I should try writing about the songs that I like. I don't quite understand why, but I guess it was worth a shot. Well, that didn't work, but through that experience, I have found a newfound appreciation to Vocaloids. Look, I wish I could get into Vocaloid more, but sadly, this video would be way too long if I got into that rabbit hole. So let's just start without the introduction. Could go ahead and look up what Vocaloid is. You can find a good introduction video on it on YouTube, I believe, or just start listening to one of Miku's songs. Yeah, just start with some Deco songs. Here are some recommendation. Done. All right. So for me and a lot of people online, we find that Vocaloid, or rather Physynth, if you want to be technical, tends to speak to tends to speak to us in a certain way that is just simply unique. I don't quite know what it is. It's not just the synthesized voice of the voice bank provider. It's not just the cute animation associated with the music video. It's not just the catchy chorus that you instinctively sing out loud in public when you hear something remotely close to it. But for me, at least, it's about the lyrics. Now, please pardon me because my Japanese isn't that good. I might have not understand these lyrics completely, but for the ones I do understand, or for the ones that I have searched up the translation of, I would say that, damn, this goes hard. Like how Karakuri Piero makes you feel what it feels to be the butt end of the joke. Neon Neon Sticks about acceptance of rejection giving and a view on the monotony of how non-bread oblige giving you a full-on epiphany talks about the burden of expectation, loss of innocence, desire of freedom. I really like Vocaloids. Okay, let's get back on point. All right, Vocaloid gives a way of people who resonates with it, just like me, a way to think, a way to discover themselves. It helps them understand this mess of a journey we call life in a way that is friendly, accessible, social, and cheap. I mean, a pair of headphones and anything that can play music. These days, that doesn't really cost much, especially with streaming sites such as Spotify and Apple Music and such. You don't really need to have the cassettes anymore. And so it makes the spread of this form of media so wide and it can resonate with a lot more people, which makes me kind of sad that this thing me and my friend bonded over has been considered to be a waste of time to some people. Uh, thing that is simply an icon of cringe among the weeaboos. An obsession that is just wasting money and wasting time. It's just it's not just an annoying meme. For me at least, and I believe a lot of other people, it's it's just way more than that. Now, I've been called a notebook before, specifically during middle school. I used to bring a notebook everywhere, and I still do. I write pages upon pages of words in my notes every day, and sometimes I will go to the cafeteria of a mall right after watching a movie just to write about what I liked about it, what value I gained from it, what morals I can take from it, and even one time, right after playing a game called Monster Hunter World, I wrote a short story about my hunter, what tool he used, how he dedicates his life to his works, what feelings he had when facing a giant dragon, and it was fun. It was fun writing my own story for a bit. In this world of consumerism, I feel like it's important for us to keep being creative, and in a way, consuming media and reinventing it, remixing it is a way for us to keep our creative mind sharp. My parents have taught me to do all this stuff since I was a child, and I do feel extremely lucky to have such wonderful parents. But some of my friends, they got stricter parents, and they never felt the same feeling I have doing this stuff that I love. And I would say that that is a bit of a shame, isn't it? Because I genuinely believe that these entertainments have had a net positive effect on me, rather than a net negative effect. I've gained new hobbies, I learned new stuff, and I got better grades on stuff that involve entertainment. And so, entertainments could be a destructive or a constructive force. Again, it's purely based on how you act upon it. So please don't limit yourself with brain rots because, well, in my opinion, these values that I gain from entertainments that I consume are worth a heck of a lot better than 30 minutes of simple dopamine rush. Look, I'm not saying that brain rot media are all bad, okay? If people find them funny, then so be it. I can't judge what you enjoy. But still, I want to share my way of choosing and consuming entertainments because for me, at least, interpreting my life has been a lot better. Writing my own story and getting a new motivation to start something is way more rewarding than whatever this provides. And so I just want to share this with you. Thank you.